Right. So, I don't know how to do a video like this, because it's a really tough subject. Yeah, I don't know how to do this video. My initial plan was to basically get a load of stories from like women that I knew, about their experiences with sexual harassment and abuse, and in doing that, I quickly realised that was if I was to make that video, I would need to do it in the most respectful way possible, and that just isn't possible with the current climate of, COVID and pandemic, and not being able to set up that video in the way that I envision it. And a lot of, doing something like that requires people to be comfortable with giving their stories, which a lot of people won't be able to do that with a stranger or someone that they don't know too well, and being able to share that to an audience of people they don't know. So I decided that I'm not going to do it like that. Instead, I'm just gonna talk about it and use some of the things that I've been told by either women that I know closely, or just people that have come into my DMs through things that I've through either stories that I've posted on Instagram or Snapchat, and just kind of told me their experiences, and I'm going to use what they've told me, obviously keeping those people anonymous, but to kind of portray my point of view. And my point of view hasn't changed from it. It's obviously been reinforced through what I've been told and the discussions that I've had, but it hasn't been changed drastically. But a little bit of context first. The UK currently, the current climate in the UK is not the current climate in the UK, because the current climate in the UK is sunny, but the current discussion in the UK, and I guess I don't know if it's travelled to the rest of the world as well, is there was a woman called Sarah Everard who was kidnapped, raped and murdered by a police officer. A police officer's been charged. I'm not going to name the police officer because he's a scumbag and he doesn't deserve the recognition. And I think it's wrong for big news companies to show the man's face, because he doesn't deserve to be known as a public. He doesn't deserve to be known to the public, to be quite honest, because yes, he's a scumbag and people should definitely name and shame him, but there's also that sick percentage of people that will see him, and they will see him as right, that guy is a guy that we should follow in the footsteps of. There's a sick percentage of people, because you get it with school shooters. That's why school shootings happen. It's because the news shows school shooters after they've done it. They will then be known to the public through pictures and their name. they become kind of a celebrity at that point. And I think that's wrong. I think these people should be reprimanded in private, and yes, you should definitely say it was a police officer that did this. That is important. It's not important what he looked like, it's important that it was a police officer. So after this happened, the conversation is now that this is not an outlier. This is not rare. This is not like, I mean, yes, it may be, this may be like the one that's being talked about because it was a police officer that did it, but this isn't a rare happenstance, and this is perpetrating a movement by women in the UK, or at least what I've seen, of kind of speaking out about sexual harassment as a whole. And a few days ago there was a vigil that was held in Clapham in London, which quickly turned into a pseudo protest, all completely peaceful. And tell me if this sounds familiar to you. Police came to that peaceful protest and started making arrests and started basically harassing and abusing the women and the people that were there, trying to mourn this poor woman that's just died, that's just been murdered by a police officer. I'm sure the last thing that those people mourning wanted to see was the police. And basically, I just want to come in here and basically say that, because the main outcome of this is it's horrible. It's a horrible situation. Women shouldn't have to fear about walking home, no matter what they're wearing, no matter where they are, no matter what time of day it is. And it's horrible, and it's wrong, and it's... And after this, and after so many women have come out to tell their stories and to basically say this is wrong, we don't feel safe. And then there was this, it basically came out that 97% of women in the UK, out of the people that were questioned about it, 97% of women have been sexually assaulted, which is a frightening statistic. Unfortunately, most people can probably agree, not shocking. And why is it not shocking? Because I guarantee you, if you were to ask any like female member of your family, they will tell you they've been sexually assaulted, they've been raped. Or they've at least had some kind of experience. You would be hard pressed to find someone who hadn't. And after this came out, again, tell me if this sounds familiar. There was a hashtag trending on Twitter, of course, the best website, which was hashtag not all men. The point of this was to basically rebuttal any argument posed by a woman, or any point posed by a woman, that they're scared of men, or they're scared of walking home, or they're scared of anyone basically just walking behind them. And these few but vocal people were basically saying, Yeah, but it's not all men though. It's not all men though. That's right. That is correct. That is a fact. Not all men are rapists. That is a fact. But what is also a fact is that it's very close to women being raped. And yes, not all men are rapists, but it's a fucking lot. It's a fucking lot. And in that situation, you're walking home as a woman, and you notice, especially in the current climate of COVID, you notice a guy walking behind you, regularly the same pace as you, probably wearing a mask, hood up because it's quite cold, and you can't see their face, you can't see what they're doing. They're walking at the same pace as you. You can't. If God forbid anything does happen, you can't identify them because you can't see them clearly, and you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know. This person could be just popping out to the shops. This person could be popping to get tablets for a family member, for themselves. You don't know what their intention is, but because of how common sexual abuse, kidnapping, rape is, your immediate response as a woman there would probably be, this person's going to do something. I'm going to be injured, raped, or murdered. And 9 out of 10 times that doesn't happen. But what I'm saying is, as the man in that situation, or as anyone in that situation, you would do whatever you can to make sure the person in front of you knows that you're not a threat. And I've been in that situation before, when I've been not meaning to, not intentionally, but it would look as though I was following someone, and probably give them that same thought process that I just described. And that obviously at the time I wasn't thinking, this person in front of me is terrified. I was probably thinking, oh, I'm just walking home. But I don't know, and that's probably the thought process of a lot of guys. It's not this person who it looks like I'm following is probably shit scared or terrified. It's, I just need to get from A to B. Which, yeah. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, yes, you can sit there and say that it's not all men, and you are technically correct, but not all men being the problem does not mean that you shouldn't work towards being part of the solution. That's my point, essentially. I don't know how well I got my points addressed, and obviously there are way more things that I could have talked about in this video, but I think I got the main things out. And obviously doing videos like this are always a double-edged sword, because you always have those people that are like, oh, you didn't address this properly, or you didn't say this, or your opinion is not the same as mine, therefore you're wrong. Anyways, that's not I just felt like it was important that I put my thoughts into the ether, and that I used this platform to basically do something important and to talk about something that's important, because obviously I'm not just the guy who talks about comics. It's important for guys to call out guys, and the thing that I need to like that I need to press on with, and that I need to address as well, is the other counter argument of, oh, the thing, it happens to guys too. I'm aware. I am sitting here as a guy who has been sexually assaulted. I know that sexual assault happens in guys as well. B, if you're one of the people that says that in response to a woman talking about their story and saying that they have, talking about their problems, you are then not. And if you use that as a way to kind of make their point have less meaning, you're probably one of the people that, if a guy came to you and said, I've been sexually assaulted, if it was by a guy, if they were sexually assaulted by a guy, you would probably respond with, oh, you're just weak then. Oh, you could have fought back. Oh, why'd you let it happen? And if they were assaulted by a girl, which is what happened to me, when I eventually got to the point of telling someone that I'd been sexually assaulted by a woman, their response was, oh, well, you must be lucky then. You're lucky because she was hot. And as a guy, that then gives me sympathy for a lot of women who've gone through the same thing on the reverse, because they're probably told that by at least one person. They're probably told that they were lucky to have that experience by at least one person. And that's horrible, because you've just gone through this situation that's harrowing. You're scarred for life now, and you have someone tell you that you're lucky for something you didn't have a choice in. Now, at the time, I didn't realise that what was happening to me was sexual assault. I saw it as maybe this person's just flirting. That's what I saw it as at first. But it went on for a year. It went on for a year, and then by a few months in, I was like, yeah, this isn't. After a month, I was like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't think this is this. If it is meant as like subtle flirting, it's not having the effect that it's not having that effect. It's making me feel quite uncomfortable, and I feel like, but yeah, nothing happened about that situation. I never told anyone at school. I never even said about it until like years later. But it happened. So yeah, I know it happened. It happens to guys too. But you should use that as an argument. But you should use that not as a counter argument, but as a point to add that this is a society-wide problem. Because it is a society-wide problem. It's not a problem that's just men do it to girls and that's the end of the story. It's men do it to girls do it to men do it to men, women do it to women. And yes, just because the men doing it to women is the one that's highlighted most does not mean that the others can't be brought up as part of the same conversation, because it is the same conversation. That's just my my takeaway. So I guess the final point that I have to make is that we as a society, and as the next generation, I guess, have to strive to be better. Essentially, we have to. It shouldn't be where people victim blame for, oh, you weren't wearing a lot, so you were asking for it. No, you dickhead. She was probably not wearing a lot because it was the middle of summer. You know, picture it this way. You're a construction worker, so you're working, lifting heavy things. You know, it's the middle of summer, it's fucking hot outside, so you take your shirt off because you don't want your shirt getting sweaty, or your shirt is already really sweaty and it's not comfortable to wear anymore, so you take your shirt off, and then someone walking past whistles at you. Was the guy asking for it because he didn't have a shirt on, or was it very inappropriate for the person to whistle at him? I think it's the latter. So then why is it appropriate for you to then either whistle, catcall at a woman wearing a tight dress when they just want to feel pretty? You don't know what's going on in their head. You don't know if, like, you don't know what their intentions for wearing what they're wearing are. So why would you then immediately go to, oh, they're wearing that because they want to impress someone, and that person is me. That's the worst logic, and it's also the worst logic to think that person is wearing that. That person's wearing that, and that person wearing that is then an invitation for me to stick my penis in them without them even saying anything. It's an invitation for me to get them drunk, put stuff in their drink, and then when they're unconscious and when they can't say no, I can do what I want. That is the most backwards logic I can ever think of. And the thing is, a fuck ton of guys think like that. Some girls think like that as well, but a fuck ton of guys think like that. Some guys I know think like that. Not people I call friends, but some people that I've gone to school with think like that. It's not a rare mindset. It's a very worrying mindset, but it's not rare. But I guess that's just my opinion, isn't it? I guess I'm one of the outliers for thinking that people should be able to wear what they want when they want and do what they want, you know, at whatever time of day they want. You know, just think about it this way. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you want someone putting something in your drink and and getting up to whatever they want to do with you while you're unconscious? Think about it that way. Next time you're thinking about putting something in that woman's drink. I think I've said everything I want to say. So anyways, to close off this horrible subject, um, at least now women can talk up about what they want, and at least now we can start looking toward, you know, ending this mindset, or not ending this mindset, but certainly educating some people that their mindsets are wrong. And maybe the world can be better. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that the government is imposing a bill that means that will infringe on people's right to protest. The day after the police directly instigated chaos at a protest. Not only that, but the government has decided to have police officers at nightclubs to make women feel more protected, despite the fact that the person who has been charged with the murder of Sarah Everard is a fucking police officer. Oh my god. So yeah, closing thoughts. Closing thoughts. The United Kingdom, or Britain, is looking to become a police state, and women can't even feel safe going out into a club because the exact people that are meant to protect them and make them feel safe are the exact people attacking them. So, you know, the world is fucked. Signing off.